Today we are going to discuss about cloud computing concepts, technologies, and business implications. Before we start with the lecture, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Santanu Koley. I'm working as a professor in Haldia Institute of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering department. So, going to our next part. So, this is the introduction, golden era of computing. Like today, we are in a golden era of computing where everything is in clouds. Now, what is the meaning of cloud? We must discuss. But just before it, we must go to know that the powerful multi-core processors are available. Means previously there was Pentium 1, Pentium 2 processors, but they were not multi-cores. That means number of cores within a single processor were not there. But right now there are multiple. That means more than one processors are there, so that it is capable of processing more data. Now, general purpose graphic processors. There are processors are also enabled. That's why 64-bit data or more than 64-bit data can be possible to process. There are superior software methodologies. There are different software methodologies we can use. We can use different tools to do a particular task. Virtualization is there. Virtualization means suppose something is not there, but we are using that particular thing. For example, we can take an example that suppose I do not have much space to store the data. Like if I have a old hard disk with suppose 20, 40 or 100 GB, but I want to store data more than that. So what could I do? I will use virtualization for that. That means the data will be stored onto clouds, and it will be the user will think that the data is storing on the same computer, but obviously it is stored into the clouds. Here cloud means obviously a networked computer. Now, wider bandwidth for communication. uh, there is, whenever we are communicating with video data, obviously higher bandwidth is required. Previously it was not there. uh, Next is explosion of domain applications. There are different domains of applications are there. Now, evolution of internet computing. Previously, the internet computing were less, but today internet computing is more. That means internet oriented computing. Whenever we are computing something, uh, s- initially when single core processors were used, when there was not introduced 3G, 4G or 5G technologies, before that I'm talking about, the internet computing was not there, but now we use computing through internet. So there are different stages of that. We are not going to discuss everything. There is web was there, but right now there is deep web. What is web? We all know, but what is deep web? Deep web we are going to discuss. First is discover, automate, social media networking, and data marketplace and analytics. So these are the things we are going to use in case of deep web. Now we are entering into the cloud. What is cloud? Cloud is a internet-based computing whereby shared resources, softwares, information are provided to the computers and other devices are on demand. For example, whenever we are using cloud computing, it is internet oriented. That means we can store the data onto cloud. We can process the data using cloud. We can do everything with internet oriented computing. Sorry. Now, there are different models are available in case of cloud computing. What are the models? Basically, cloud computing it works on service-oriented architecture (SOA), service-oriented architecture, and there are different types of services are available. First is platform as a service. Second is software as a service. Next is infrastructure as a service. Now, what is platform? There are hardware platforms. There are platforms like operating systems, different operating system. For example, I'm taking a small example so that it will be very clear. Suppose in a single computer, we have Windows operating system, we have uh, Mac OS, or we have Linux OS, we have Android OS. Now, if in a single computer, there are four operating systems. You can imagine the system will be slower until and unless uh, huge processors, huge networks are being used, not used. But platform oriented, platform as a service, it can give you the cloud service. It will give you whatever platform you are needing. It can provide you. Next is software as a service. Next is software as a service. Now we use softwares. There are different application softwares we are use, but all that softwares are not. We have to buy the software. That means original software we have to use. Now every time for original software, every time it should be uh, updated properly, time to time. The software company, if the software company gives you update, you have to install that so that you can get the all necessary things, all updates every time. But every time it is not possible to buy software because the cost is higher. In this case, what we can do, we can use cloud computing model. In cloud computing model, this software as a service, you can take software as a rental basis and you can go for pay per use concept. In case of infrastructure, if I do not have the do not store the data, we cannot store the data because we do not have a sufficient amount of memory. That means if I do not have hard disk to store the data, though we can store the data with the help of cloud computing, the infrastructure as a service architecture. And the services are based application program interface, APIs. APIs are there. Next is types of cloud. There are different types of clouds are available. First is public cloud. Next is private cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud, and multi cloud. We are going to discuss one by one. Now, first is public cloud. What is public cloud? Now, there are different companies, they are using their cloud systems like IBM, Amazon, VMware is also using, Google, they are also providing us cloud services. But these services are free and up to some amount, up to some limit. That means you can use, I can use, everybody can use the cloud services. But there are certain limits. Whenever we are doing some businesses, if we have some business applications, then we have to buy that cloud. The public cloud is free, almost free. And next is private cloud. Private cloud is for a particular organization. There is a if there is a big organization and they want their data to be put into cloud, they want infrastructure as a service into clouds, using clouds. If they want security, then private cloud is being used. Now there are, in case of security, I must say there are three level security architecture is there. First is user ID and password. Second is RWX read write execute permission, and third one is encryption decryption. That's why the security of cloud is very important and very robust. Next is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud, it's a combination between public and private cloud. Next is community cloud. Now, what is community cloud? Community cloud means it's a type of community. For example, like us, we are the education community. Like there is a health community. Suppose take example of this health community. Suppose there is a hospital 1, hospital 2, hospital 3 of 3 different places. This is in Kolkata, this is in New Delhi, and this is in Mumbai. There are 3 organizations of same type of hospital, say cancer hospital. Now, these 3 hospitals must have some coordination if they want some coordination, so that the doctor of Kolkata can advise the doctors or junior doctors or patients of New Delhi, or same thing can happen with Mumbai or vice versa. So in such type of cases, the things the hospitals want to share, they could share using a community cloud. If there is a community cloud, the data between these 3 organizations could be shared according to their needs. Now, the next is multi-cloud. Now, multiple clouds must be there. Like if somebody needs different types, different clouds like small, medium, large, whatever the size of the cloud or whatever the need, that could be provided. Such type of multi-cloud is provided by Microsoft. That's why Microsoft as well as Amazon. That's why the example is given here. Microsoft Azure and AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Now, enabling technologies. Now, what type of technology we must use in this type of things? Now, first, there will be a 64-bit processor, because obviously there is huge data to be processed through the processor. That's why a 64-bit processor is required. Next is multi-core architecture. Multi-core architecture is another important thing. That means you previously at the beginning of this lecture, I have told you about multiple cores. Virtualization. Virtualization is, again, there is another important thing. Virtualization means if there is something is not there, it is being used on place of that. That means if there are a particular, suppose I do not have 4 GB, 4 gigahertz processor, but though I can use 4 gigahertz processor with the use of cloud computing. So for that, 4 gigahertz, suppose somebody have the cloud provider must have 4 gigahertz type of processor, and that will be used virtually. That means I can use from here. Suppose the data center is somewhere else. So there is VM1. After VM1, there must be VM number n. That means n number of users can use virtual machines. Web services, service-oriented architecture, web service standards must be there. The service interface must be there. That means which is interfacing between 2 different parts. The bandwidth must be better, so that huge amount of data can go to and from both way, in both way. Cloud applications, data intensive, computer intensive, storage intensive data should be there. So cloud applications must support such kind of things. Next is common features of cloud providers. What are the common features? First is IDE, SDK and plugins. This is the development environment. Next is production environment. It is from development environment. It will move towards production environment. Obviously, there are some databases are there, simple storage and different drives, and they are accessible through web services. Now, the management console and monitoring tools and multi-level security is also there. Some companies they are providing Windows Azure, like Windows Azure that is provided by Microsoft. Next is Amazon EC2. This is called Elastic Cloud Computing. EC2. C there is two C's are there. Elastic Cloud Computing. That means this type of computing can be enlarged or enhanced as Elastics could do. And next is Google App Engine. Google is providing this type of services. There are some demos of Linux machine, Windows machine, and every time it can provide some demos. And this is final. That's all about cloud computing.